Let's just kick it off, shall we? Let's go live. I'm in a way today. Isn't that crazy how we all just ebb and flow so much in this life as humans? I am definitely beat red today. I got too much sun. It felt good. I'm not going to lie. And to absorb the sun is definitely a blessing, and it is good for you. Just might got a little too much in the face. I was wearing a long sleeve, and now kind of paying the price. Okay. Good enough, good enough. Welcome to a muzzled chat. Just off the pinch me episode. I tell you folks, the world we live in, this is crazy. This is the illusion. We are visiting here. And we're getting too caught up in the mortal existence, not tapping into the bigger picture. And it's just fleeting. It's just passing us by. That being said, we're not going to mess around today. We're going to go ahead and dive right into the screen shares. Hide that little fella. Make sure our audio settings are good for this episode. At any point, if you're having a hard time hearing, just let me know. All right, we're going to cut this freaking crap out. We're going to cut this crap out. We're not messing around. The one person waiting dropped out. It's not going to stop me. And I know more will trickle through. But I want us to make an honest assessment for ourselves. What matters in this existence? Because what we're in fact going to cover today, it's not necessarily an easy thing to go through, but we must not be ignorant to the truth around us. And are we the only ones being targeting in this warfare? We must understand what 5th generation warfare is and what it looks like, because we're in it. And it's silent warfare. And it's unfortunate that, at what point are we going to wake up and say enough is enough? With all the different angles of attacks that we have proven and gone over on this platform time and time again. It's crazy. Truth of the matter is, no, it's not just us. Our children are 100% being targeted, more so specifically than even us. And I love today's title image. Silence in the face of evil is evil itself. Who's that by? Dietrich Bo. Can't even read it on here. And my screen's froze. Bonhoeffer. I apologize if I just totally butchered that. But how true is that? Silence in the face of evil is truly evil itself. That being said, let's look at a lot of the targeting. And let's hear what this gentleman and this gal have to say.
How do you feel about children being on puberty blockers?
I think it's child abuse. I think demonizing a natural process is wrong. And if a child is that afraid of puberty, they need some serious therapy.
It's the most dangerous thing in the world, and it is child abuse. It should be illegal. The brain doesn't finish developing till age 25, and the body too. I'm detransitioning myself. I was born female, transitioned to male. I have been so ill, and that was as an adult, so what is it doing to children?
How did that, like, were you a kid and kind of got, like, talked into?
I had gender dysphoria as a kid. I thought I was born in the wrong body. Growing up, I realized that's not possible because you don't know what it's like being in the wrong body.
Boom.
But I had the feelings all my life, and then as an adult, I went for it. I was okay for a few years, and I got incredibly ill. Now I suffer from adult tics and other health conditions, seizures, and they want to do this to children. These people need to be locked up. It is the modern day lobotomy. They belong in jail.
They need to be locked up. They need to be put in jail. I couldn't agree more. I'm so sorry to hear about your struggles. This video just got permanently deleted on TikTok after amassing 1.1 or 1.7 million views for hate speech, folks. We can't even grasp is that how dangerous the censorship, the information warfare leg of fifth generation warfare in fact is. It's truly insane to me how we are all allowing these platforms to get away with censoring truth. Truth, real life, or anything good for that matter, or anything full stop, period. It's going to lead nowhere good unless we unite against these platforms 100%. Because that, my friends, is a war tactic, another leg of fifth generation war and targeting against children. Puberty blockers, mutilating their bodies, manipulating their minds. 100% war tactic. Here's another one. War tactic.
Yes.
Okay. The lung of the fetuses?
Yes.
Okay. Included skin?
Yes.
Kidney?
Yes.
Spleen?
Yes.
Heart?
Yes.
And this was just one study. So
You should read all this, folks. This is unbelievable.
In your entire career, how many fetuses have you worked with?
Well, I don't remember the exact number, but quite a few when we were studying them originally, before we decided to use them to make vaccines.
Do you have any sense? I mean, this one study had 76. How many other studies did you have that you used aborted fetuses for?
Oh, I don't remember how many.
You're aware? Are you aware that one of the objections to vaccination by the plaintiff in this case is the inclusion of aborted fetal tissue in the development of vaccines, and the fact that it's actually part of the ingredients of vaccines? The lung of the fetuses?
People don't understand what's going on. They need to understand, because they're torturing and murdering babies for money. They have found a way of becoming incentivized to push out false narratives as though it's my body, my choice, and manipulate words in such a way that it's just a clump of cells and not a life being formed in the womb. Males' brains aren't fully developed till like the 20s. So it's still developing. What's the difference? Just because you can't quite see it, it's not murder? Unbelievable. Another war tactic. 100%. Yes. The most innocent among us are being targeted right now. Well, it doesn't stop there. Let's give this one a listen.
These are the times that I am discouraged about my job as a representative, and also just what happens here at the Capitol. We sat in a committee all day discussing whether or not somebody that buys little children, these are 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old kids, and they buy them for sex, that we tried to get a bill through. Representative Bradley sent one through.
A bill
that was going to put these buyers in jail. Right now, most of the time, they get off on probation. Almost all the time,
Unbelievable.
They get off on probation after buying a child and raping a little child.
They need to be
and we
hung.
try to say, well, they need to at least serve a minimum of
They
4
need to
years.
put down.
And
No.
we sat and listened
They need to be
the
put down.
Democrats fight
I'll
against
call
this,
it right now.
fight against putting these people in jail and came up with all kinds
You're a
of reasons,
pedophile. You touch our children. It's not even murder at that point. We're putting you down because what you're causing against children is horrific and it's satanic and it's evil and you have no right.
including that these buyers are victims themselves. This is very discouraging, and it's also very disgusting for me that they would actually defend this. And then they voted completely along party lines. The Democrats voted 100%. They did not want to put these pedophiles in jail. They defended the pedophiles.
Unbelievable.
This is why it's so difficult sometimes to do what we do around here. We know we're on the side of right. We know we're on the side of morality. And we get shot down by, I do not understand the thought process behind this, but we do get shot down. This is why I would encourage you to do a few things to help us with this. First, if you believe in prayer at all, please pray. We are fighting truly dark forces here.
Yes,
This is not okay. This is evil stuff that we're dealing with. And if you have the ability to come up and testify on bills or anything like this, please do so. Your voice is very important to what we're trying to accomplish around here. We are the minority, but with you, we become a powerful force.
I cannot believe this is the world we live in. What the frick is wrong with our country? It's time that we clean house. We literally have allowed evil to run everything in this country. And yes, enough is enough. I mean, even Child Protective Services more so stand for something else.
CPS. Do you know what it stands for? Child Protective Services. However, history shows that they do, proverbially speaking, not stand for this. They do not stand for children. They do not stand for protection, and they do not stand for service. They stand for corruption, they stand for profit, and they stand for secrecy. This is Senator Nancy Schaefer.
But tonight, I'm talking about those children.
She was horrifically murdered.
For profit. Children are seized unnecessarily from their families due to the federal aid created in 1974 entitled the Adoption and Safe Families.
I don't get it. What are we afraid to lose in this life? CPS is the largest child trafficking ring in history. Child trafficking is the most lucrative industry, far surpassing both the drug and gun trade combined. Our own government is responsible for missing children, child sex abuse, and the sale of innocent children. These are facts. These are truths. And we're too self-absorbed in our little bubbles and not paying attention to the fifth generation warfare that is taking place and targeting all of our children. The more CPS can even get away with this, the greater threat it even becomes to your children at home. Why wait for that day to happen? Versus actually taking action on what you know is taking place. Once again, to the title of this image, or the image title to this episode. Are you just going to be silent in the face of evil? Are you? I know this is a bit harsh, but I know our time's getting cut short here. And there's more important things to do with our time than just being encompassed in our little bubble. This is spiritual warfare. We played this clip the other day, but it's so powerful and intertwines into today's message so well, we're going to play it again. you could see public figures pretty much admit they want nothing to do with Jesus, our Lord and Savior. This is a spiritual warfare.
Weeks ago, I attended the Trump rally here in my town. Before I dive into what I'm about to share, here's a peek at that. Well, today I found out that Kamala Harris was coming to my town, so I decided to go. I wanted to see the differences. Notably, I had to show my ID to get in to see her. But anyway, I was making a video talking actually about how sad I was that the loudest cheering at the rather small event came in support of abortion when I panned over to the crowd and to her speaking, and I caught something I wasn't expecting. Check it out. Not a lot of energy here, but everyone just cheered and screamed for killing babies.
That's so evil. So many are being duped and manipulated. That's why we gotta more so become effective in the information warfare, because we actually shut down the true propagandists and misinformationists. We shouldn't allow traditional, what do they call it? Old legacy media spew lies. That's not infringing on speech. That's stopping corporations from enacting their mind control tactics among the masses. We should have the abilities to speak freely. Because it's, I don't know, like Jesus said on the cross, forgive them, for they know not what they do. We could minimize the them by shutting down some of the legs of this 5th generation warfare.
So that was disappointing. Anyway, here she is. Did you hear that? Some guy in the crowd shouted, "Jesus is Lord." And Kamala said, "I think you're at the wrong rally."
Says it all. Says it all. All right, now this is graphic because we're really going into this 5th generation warfare and whether or not it's just us or if in fact they're targeting children. So disclaimer, this is graphic. There's a sniper child and a mother. The child's still alive. The sniper would actively shoot anyone that goes out there. So they're trying to put electrical cords and ropes together and get him out of there. So yes, children, even with kinetic warfare, are being targeted with sniper rounds. And unfortunately, a lot of Americans are even supporting that, just like they're supporting abortion. Just like they're supporting mutilation of child's innocence and their bodies. It is horrific if you actually look into what all that involves. So, this international court has already declared Israel an illegal state. It's been declared everything that they've been doing unlawful. Why is it continuing? Why are we continually supporting that?
I recently received some information from an inside source, a mother in Alberta, Canada, who went to her family doctor, and her family doctor is warning her that all of the childhood schedule is going to be switched to mRNA.
Interesting.
What does this mean? This means that they are going to be using children, our children, as science experiments. They are going to be using a technology that is designed to genetically modify.
You know what? You guys don't have to like me. If you're afraid of the message, if you're afraid of the truth, then my heart goes out to you, because ignorance will not be blissful.
Humanity. So if you are still taking your children to wellness visits, I highly encourage you to start doing your research and to stop following the science that is paid for. The science is paid for. And I wouldn't be surprised if there is a very large campaign letting parents get caught up on the childhood schedule. Wow. So for anybody that fell behind from 2020 to 24, they're going to be encouraging these parents to take their children to get updated.
Okay, so straight up, we should ask a question. Who do we still need to educate that would still do this to their child as though this is healthy for their child? Getting any childhood vaccine schedule, flu shot, any needle in a child's arm. Who do we should ask ourselves in our personal lives, who do we still need to educate? We could send them this very clip, and then I've also attached in this clip Vaxed 1 and Vaxed 2. That should be all you need to watch as a parent to be more so in the know and now start to question things, and you wouldn't just blindly put something in your child's arm without understanding more about it, which is exactly what we need. We need more education across the board. And Vaxed 1, Vaxed 2 does a fantastic job. And I am unsure. I need to put forth the effort. I'll make note. Vaxed 3. I need to see if that one's out, and I'll start including that after I see that myself. But Vaxed 1, Vaxed 2 is a huge blessing. And here it is right here. From cover-up to catastrophe, Vaxed 2, the people's truth. This should be all you need to know. Any parent, right here in this very episode. But we're going beyond just the weaponization of Western medicine or health services or any. It's a corrupted business. It's another leg of the war tactics of fifth generation warfare. And it wasn't just deployed in America. It was deployed across the globe. Some countries more effectively than others. But listen to this and tell me if you need more. We have more.
Subject of vaccines, and since it seems to be a great interest of yours, I challenge you to debate me on it. And I'm going to tell you just what my position is. And my position is not anti-science. My position is exactly aligned with the National Academy of Science and the Institute of Medicine. People don't know my position because people call me an anti-vaxxer, but I'm not. I'm pro-vaccine. I had all my children vaccinated. I believe the vaccine should be tested, safety tested.
Yes.
People don't know. You cannot sue a company that makes vaccines that injures you, no matter how egregious the injury is, no matter how negligent that company was, no matter how toxic the ingredient. Furthermore, they're completely insulated, so there's no incentive for them to make vaccines safe.
Right.
Furthermore, they're also exempt. They're the only medicine that's exempt from safety testing. So now, one of the 72 vaccines currently given to our children, mandated, has ever been tested against a placebo. That means nobody knows what the risk profile is, and nobody can say with a scientific certainty if that vaccine is averting more problems than it causes.
Nobody.
And I don't think that we ought to be mandating medical interventions for unwilling Americans unless we know precisely that vaccine is going to end up helping people rather than hurting them. The Institute of Medicine is the ultimate arbiter of vaccine science, according to Congress and HHS. And the Institute of Medicine has time and again in 1991, 1994, 2011, 2014 has scolded and rebuked and screamed at the CDC for not doing safety testing on any of these vaccines. And we've seen the vaccine schedule. I had 3 vaccines when I was a kid. Wow. My children got 72. It changed in 89, and if you were born prior to 89, your chance of having a chronic disease, rheumatoid arthritis, diabetes, autism, food allergies, is 12%. If you were born after 89, it is 54% according to HHS. And nobody's explaining where is it all coming from? Where's all the autism coming from if it's not vaccines?
Right.
Why is it in my generation 1 in 2,500 kids had autism, and in this generation 1 in 34?
34.
CDC is supposed to tell us where the diseases are coming from. Why is it in my generation 1 in 400 kids had food allergies, peanut allergies?
Right.
And 1 in 10 today. And guess what? Look at the vaccine inserts. All of the 400 diseases that are now epidemic in our children.
All right. So
what a blessing it is to have a man like that with a platform like he does to date and is sounding the alarm on it. How is it we ourselves as parents haven't responded to this faster? It truly blows my mind how blindly and trusting we've been for as long as we have been. And there have been some individuals on the fringe. There have been many that have been suicided, taken out, or just ostracized. But if that wasn't enough for you, here's another. We must face this evil. We must get people educated, especially to protect our littles. And hopefully the unification and momentum we can build in those arenas will lead to protections we need even ourselves in order to further protect our littles.
I just want to approach this really from a journalist's perspective and a layman's perspective, which is what I have. There's plenty of people here can give you reasons why. I just want to state the obvious, which is just this past week, news headlines described a massive study of 99 million people who received the COVID vaccine. The Daily Mail headline says it all. Largest COVID vaccine study ever finds shots are linked to small increased risk of neurological, blood, and heart disorders. And it adds on to the title, but they are still extremely rare. Right. Every article about the study went out of its way to describe the injuries as rare.
This gets good.
But what does rare actually mean? First slide. This is the graph that was in the Daily Mail's article. In terms of this study, what they're saying is rare includes a 3.78 times risk of swelling in the brain and spinal cord. This means you're increasing your risk of brain and spinal swelling by 378% over someone who didn't get the vaccine. There was also a 2.86 times risk of Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is a paralysis, 6.10 times risk of myocarditis, and a 6.91x risk of pericarditis, swelling of the heart issues. The question no one in the media seems to be asking, I think, is if each of these potential injuries is rare, is it still rare when you add them all together?
Right.
Take the Moderna vaccine, for example. In the standard 3-shot regimen, based on this study, a person is increasing their risk of brain and spinal swelling by 378%.
378.
They're also adding a 348% risk of myocarditis with that same first shot. a 610% increase in myocarditis for the second.
The fact a single person dropped out at this point of his speech blows my mind. What is wrong with this world? I guess I'm just wasting my time here, aren't I? It sure feels like it. Are we going to send this to the moon and back? Are we going to do our part out of love for our family members and loved one when we know and share this information? Because, I mean, if not through this, then what? Through our fake elections? I'd like it to be through God. But this was a direct attack on each and every one of us. I view this mortally as a smoking gun for people to get on board and really solve the bigger issues and corruption in this country and in the world we live in. And properly acknowledging that, yes, fifth generation warfare is alive and well. And yes, they have been targeting our children.
Second shot, and another 201% increased risk of myocarditis with a third shot. And these are just the adverse events that were the focus of the study. We're talking about cancer and all sorts of other things that we should be looking at. When the CDC was creating the vSafe app to track the health outcomes of the first 10 million people who received the COVID vaccine, they had a list of adverse events of special interest. These were injuries that the CDC had reason to believe could be caused by the COVID vaccine. That list includes acute myocardial infarction, anaphylaxis, coagulopathy, death, Guillain-Barré syndrome, Kawasaki's disease, multisystem inflammatory disease, narcolepsy, seizures, convulsions, stroke, and transverse myelitis. Now let's just assume that all of these issues are rare, and since we know that the rare is currently being described, at least in this study, as anything between a 200% increase to a nearly 700% increased risk, then what is the actual risk when you add all these potential adverse outcomes together? Further still, how high is the risk when you multiply all of these risks by 5 doses of the COVID vaccine? Are we still in the ballpark of rare? Now imagine multiplying all of these known risks by 72 doses. Now you've just considered the amount of risk that every child is facing with the CDC recommended schedule.
Wow.
The CDC childhood schedule has been the focus of my nonprofit ICANN's work since the end of 2016 when it was founded. Through FOIA requests and lawsuits against our regulatory agencies, we've uncovered many inconvenient truths. Perhaps the most significant finding is that none of the 14 routine vaccines on the CDC recommended schedule, which are delivered in approximately 72 doses, was ever put through a long-term, double-blind, placebo-based safety trial prior to licensure.
Wow.
Since this type of trial is really the only way to establish that a pharmaceutical product is safe, it is misinformation to state that the vaccines are safe.
Wow.
We have skipped the study that would allow you to make that statement scientifically. Most people don't realize that there's a list of known side effects on the information sheet provided with every vaccine that is shipped. Here is just a partial list of printed adverse events for just one of the hepatitis B vaccines, Engerix B. Here are the side effects: herpes zoster, meningitis, thrombocytopenia, anaphylaxis, hypersensitivity syndrome, arthralgia, arthritis, urticaria, erythema multiforme, encephalopathy, swelling of the brain, just like the COVID vaccine, multiple sclerosis, neuritis, hyposthesia, paresthesia, Guillain-Barré syndrome, paralysis, Bell's palsy, optic neuritis, paralysis, paresis, seizures, syncope, transverse myelitis, conjunctivitis,
we're injecting that in our children.
tinnitus, vertigo, tachycardia, apnea, bronchospasms, including asthma-like symptoms, dyspepsia, alopecia, angioedema, eczema, and Stevens-Johnson syndrome. That's just one vaccine. That vaccine manufacturer has all these side effects in the warning list because why? It is stipulated by the FDA that there is a reasonable belief that they are causally related to the vaccine. That's why they're there. They're not adding them just because they think they should, because they have to. The warning label lists nearly 50 potential side effects, many of them serious, and that is just the first vaccine given to a baby on their first day of life. By the way, the safety study for that hepatitis B vaccine was only 4 days long and had no placebo comparator. That is not science, that's insanity.
Yes.
We currently have a lawsuit trying to have that vaccine removed until they do proper safety testing. Every one of the...
How isn't... It's all rigged system, too, to even address this. We must just assemble and get things handled. It is beyond enough.
Childhood vaccines has a similar list of side effects. And though they are considered rare, how rare is it when you multiply roughly 50 potential side effects 72 times, which is the total number of doses given to a child by the time they're 18? The revelations from the recent study of the COVID vaccine explains what we have been saying for years. Vaccines are not completely safe.
Right.
And those side effects are rare. What happens when you add them all together? Perhaps it looks like this. Last slide.
I wish we could see
this.
The
This is what
slides.
Brian Hooker is talking about. In the 1980s, when we were giving 11 doses of about 3 vaccines, the chronic illness rate, which includes neurological and autoimmune disease, was 12.8%. Once we passed the 1986 Act and we had the gold rush of vaccines, it exploded to 53 doses. As I said, 72, that's 53 shots, 72 doses. You watch the chronic illness rate, neurological and autoimmune disease, skyrocket to 54% of our children. And by the way, that study was finished up in 2011, 2012. We have no idea since then how bad this has gotten.
Wow.
But what you were looking right at there is the greatest decline in public health in human history.
The greatest decline in human history.
Never have we watched that many children in just a few decades have their immune system start fighting their own bodies and swelling brains. And when you look at the numbers that Brian Hooker just showed you,
so sad.
They match exactly what we're seeing them call rare in this COVID study.
Yeah.
5 times the rate of neurological disorders. Vaxxed versus unvaxxed showing about 4 times the rate of autism in people that got the vaccine compared to those that don't. So it's rare, but it's possible, and it's real. And when we look at those rare numbers stacked up, especially with autism, we're now at 1 in 45. That's conservative. Many say 1 in 35 children is being diagnosed with autism.
Wow.
Roughly 1 in 20 to 24 boys. Is that still rare?
No.
Sure.
No.
Sure, it's just a couple per 100. But what we can never say again after this study and what we all now know is that vaccine injury isn't happening. That's a lie. It is. And we all have a threshold, and we should figure out what that threshold is.
That statement he even just stated, just FYI, you say that on YouTube, you're off. You see that on TikTok, you're off. There's a multitude of platforms, you're off. So that's another leg of this 5th generation warfare that is no joke, that is infringing upon our speech, which is inhibiting us from getting this out there. Hence why this is so important. Hence why I am so frustrated, and I'm going to have to personally reassess an angle of attack in a combination of this bombshell information that will, in fact, end up more effectively going viral organically. Because we're going against every algorithm that exists known to man. And they're firing up more AI systems to fight against speech, to eliminate anything that opposes what they want you to know, what the, in fact, truth is. So it's like, in a way, we're even losing on the war front of the information war. And we lose that, it's all over. So if we effectively can assemble in the right ways for free speech, for health, then we have a fighting chance. But it's beyond us. They're targeting our children.
Threshold is because millions of children are being injured all the way around the world.
Yeah.
Nothing to see here, right?
Nothing to see here.
Can't.
Unbelievable. It just breaks my heart. That was so well done. I'm just like, Beautifully said. Let's 100% get to the bottom of this before another shot goes into another innocent child's arm. Any shot. Nothing too profound, but how many times there's just... Obviously, I'm doing a fantastic job of scaring people off today's episode. So let's just allow more people to speak out on this topic than I.
How many people didn't take the shots in 2020 and are all still here? That's the part of the story that's always missing.
It truly is missing. I didn't take any. I'm still here. How many took it and aren't here?
With the flu shot, same with like all these other shots that they give these kids and whatever else. Everybody's still fine. All that's to just poison people. That's straight up. Like
Right.
everything is just to poison people.
The shots.
And cause issues down the road. You look
Right.
at these old ads from like 1888.
It's true.
With newspapers and vaccines, and you see all of this stuff about how like there's a grim reaper walking around with a vaccine trying to stick it in these kids. Like that's what people depicted vaccines in 1888. They understood that when a person was taking these and putting them into their body, they were being harmed, they were being maimed, they were being killed. Now these heavy metals and these toxins play a role on a person's health over time. Then they start to develop an illness, such as chronic fatigue, such as lupus, whatever, any of those names that you want to give it. All it is you poison the cells in your body with vaccines, which are crossing the blood-brain barrier and just messing up the body. You look at the people who haven't taken any, like the Amish, don't take a single shot, and they don't have any of the health problems that the people who are taking the shots do. And there's always, that's what's missing from these studies when they're trying to tell people they need flu shots and they need all this stupid stuff to put into their body. They're missing is the controls. They're not showing the people who didn't take it.
Right.
How many people?
Well, for good reason. No one would ever take it if that information was available. Full stop. Now this involves everyone, not just their children. Played this the other day. We're going to continue to play it because what they did to weaponize against we the people, this is just the pre-stages, folks.
Say one other thing. President Harris said today in her post, in her speech, she said that President Trump was going to turn the U.S. military against the American public and use the public to promote his agenda. How many of you think that is true? Well, what's interesting to me,
what they
is that
themselves are doing.
the Biden-Harris
That's all they do.
administration has done something 2 weeks ago that has never been done in American history.
Never.
Which is to send exactly lethal force, to send a directive to the Pentagon,
Right.
changing the law to make it legal for the U.S. military to use lethal force against American citizens on American soil.
Unbelievable. That's all we need to hear. Fifth generation warfare is so real. The spiritual warfare is so real. Some solutions. We could start reaching out, but unless we have a tally, because it hit me the other day. Of course we've been reaching out. You see what happens to Bud Light. You see what happens to Tractor Supply when they go woke, and John Deere and Harley Davidson. They turn because it goes directly to their pocketbooks. But with our government, they take our money no matter what. So they continually sweep it under the rug. Of course they're hearing from us. So we need to gain an infrastructure to where we're keeping a tally that we now could arm legal teams with to go against, or we simply can see it and now it ramps up the sense of urgency within us to enough is enough. We're going to protest. We're going to seek whatever means necessary. So if you want to reach out to the governor, go ahead, but record it. We must gain a tally. If you want to help fund that with this platform, we'd be happy to take it on. A proper web page that will tally up numbers and start just building all of that momentum for us. Fact of the matter is, we would need funds in order to do so. In the links below, there's a direct Venmo, Cash App, Buy Me a Coffee, GoFundMe, you name it. It's all in there. If not that, I mean, if you got a better plan, a better idea, please reach out to unmuzzledchat@gmail.com. I would love to hear your thoughts. We so desperately need actual solutions in this time. All the infringements on this Nuremberg Code, every one of those vaccines, this freedomfighter1776.com, amazing webpage, so much in here, so much Lieutenant Mark Bashaw has been doing on behalf of these illegal criminal shots. And you can see all the things he's been filing. And we could join him and build momentum there. Read up on our Constitution, our Bill of Rights. Everything is being trampled upon. It's like, to the American people, do we even value freedom anymore? Check out Forgotten Soldiers. We must get behind and start supporting more of our comrades that are selflessly to put everything on the line in their lives and do what they're doing on behalf of you, on behalf of everyone's future in this country. Just doing their best to expose the tyranny so we can come up with solutions together. That's all it is. When you, I don't know, to kind of wrap up this episode, and you look at, let's kick off some type of tune-ish so I don't just yell into the microphone. You know what? This goes beyond music. We don't need music. But when you wrap it all up and you ask, are we the only ones being targeted? Obviously not. It is as though they are more so going after our children, manipulating our children, grooming our children, mutilating our children, aborting, murdering our most innocent lives, trafficking, and yes, sex trafficking our children through child protective services, through many means, government means in this country. We've played whistleblowers that have interviewed imprisoned cartel members simply stating that the vast majority of the children that they were trafficking over the border were to Democrats, were to the Democratic Party. I'm not just saying that to demonize the Democratic Party. There's literally a part of that side that is a part of the synagogue of Satan. And they're fulfilling Satan's bloodlust right before our eyes. If you haven't seen The Sound of Freedom, it exposes just a sliver. It is horrific what is taking place. Any one of these would be enough is enough, but it continues. The war with bombs, sniper rounds, specifically targeting children. The childhood vaccine schedule. It's not just threatening our children. It is, in fact, murdering them. Not all of them, but it's murdering too many. Our government's threatening them in many different ways, trying to steal them from loving parents. I mean, let's just touch on for a second how targeting all of us, including them with the poisoning of the food, water, air, frequencies, it's all warfare, my friends. Evil is everywhere. Evil is targeting our children. Will you do nothing? We need to get this message out. Share, like, comment. Let's get this episode out like never before. We must acknowledge the 5th generation warfare that's taking place. Once again, silence in the face of evil is truly evil itself. With that, God bless you. I almost just wrapped up. And then I looked over and Jesus is calling. I think we need it. I need it. Let's do it. Today's read, it just breaks my heart. I get so fired up when it comes to our children. I get so fired up. Because when it's adults in 5th generation warfare, whether it's missiles and bombs, that's one, even if it's silent tactics. But our innocent children? Come on. How are we so blind? October 26 reads, "Come to me when you are hurting, and I will soothe your pain. Come to me when you are joyful, and I will share your joy." Multiplying it many times over. I am all you need, just when you need it. Your deepest desires find fulfillment in me alone. This is the age of self-help. Bookstores abound with books about taking care of number one, in quotations, making oneself the center of all things. This is so true. The main goal of these methodologies is to become self-sufficient and confident. You, however, have been called to take a road less traveled. Continual dependence on me. True confidence comes from knowing you are complete in my presence. Everything you need is a counterpart in me. It's so true. The evil one would have us feed our pride and ego as though we could take on the world ourselves just to see us fall. There's 2 scripture references. We got John 15:5 and James 1:4. Let's dive into the 1-minute prayer. It's integrity. This title states, "Moving toward good things. For the Lord God is a sun and a shield. And the Lord bestows favor and honor. No good thing does he withhold from those who walk. Those who walk is blameless." Must be a King James version. I sit there and trip up. That's why I got the NLT, but that makes sense. No good thing does he withhold from those who walk in blameless. So, without sin, I guess, in a sense. Psalm 84:11. This prayer reads, "God, giver of all that is good, you are the source of the grace that flows through my veins and keeps me alive. Your strength moves me toward good things. I work to hold my head up high, not with pride, but with honor that comes from the faith life. Keep me in line with your will. Push, tug, and lead me toward a future you have for me. When I am not making progress towards your blessings, it is not because you are withholding them. It is because I have not yet moved toward your will. Do not let me stray from the goodness that awaits, Lord. I pray we all find his path for us and all that abundant blessing he has to offer every single one of us. And believe you me, it'll come in miracles. It'll come in, yes, some desires that we seek, but it will also surprise us 100% with things we can't even imagine. Things we didn't even put value on before, and all of a sudden with that blessing, it became extremely more valuable than even mortal fleshy things around us. I know that to be true. I've experienced it. I pray we could stay that course. I know I was super frustrated this episode, folks. I can't handle it. The children. Let's go. Enough is enough. I'm so sick of evil in this life. The synagogue of Satan and the war tactics he's deployed is far too effective on our littles. And too many men are sitting idly by. It's challenging me. I want to get frustrated. God help me hand it over to you. That's a daily challenge. Or give me a path that I can be more effective in your will and blessing these innocent lives. Folks, help us magnify what we're trying to do here through any means necessary, whether it's through shares, whether it's through donations, whether it's through our affiliations below. You know them. If you don't, scroll through them. There's mega discounts. I love you. I want the best for us. I know we got challenging times ahead. My goodness. Our government just passed directives to turn the military against we the people using lethal force. We must get more organized and unify, and luckily we're building up quite the army ourselves, in a sense, with a lot of military men that got the boot, that were standing morally upright, fulfilling their oath against the COVID crimes, the COVID tyranny. Time will tell, but I look forward to seeing you soon. Till then, God bless you. Have a great day.